I've been in London now for 2 years. You can tell how long someone's like been in London for just based on how tightly they grip their phone. That's how you know. Like when I first moved here, I would just walk around just with my phone in my hand, just begging to be robbed. Now I keep it safely up my ass. That's what if I get a text, I come immediately. Best way to do it, It's safe out there. No, the other day I saw a guy who was sitting at a table outside a cafe. He left his phone on the table to go inside to order. I was like, I should let him know that's not what you do. So I did take the phone out. I feel like he needs to learn the lesson, Yeah, like a lot of like crime obviously in this city. I was reading the Daily Mail recently because I need the material. And I was saying the reason why there's knife crime is because kids listen to rap music and their favourite rappers are also gangsters, so they want to copy them. What a dumb way of looking at the problem. I listen to Michael Jackson, P. Diddy and Drake. I'm not a pedophile, okay? So I feel like that's rubbed off, Well, look, I think the reason why there's knife crime is because kids just think it's cool to carry a knife. So you've got to make knives uncool. How do you make something uncool? You get your parents into it. We got to get old people into knife crime. It'll make it so uncool straight away. Because let's be honest, if you hear about a stabbing in South London over drugs, kind of sounds a bit cool. But if you heard about a stabbing in the Cotswolds over Scrabble, you'd be like, knives are kind of cringe, actually. Kind of embarrassing, I do like living in the UK. You guys are very British audiences. I like you're very like pessimistic, cynical people, and that's good. In America, they're too optimistic. You walk on stage, they're like, "This is going to be fantastic." In this country, I walk on stage, the crowd's like, "He might be shit." And honestly, I think it's good to have that cynicism because that's why cults don't happen in this country. You cannot start a cult in this country. In America, so easy to start a cult. In America, you come out and say, "I am your savior." Everyone's like, "Oh, fuck, you said it loudly. It must be true." Let's make him president, I think. I think that's a good idea, You cannot start a cult in this country. If you come in and say, "I am your savior," everyone here is like, "You are Gary from Croydon." That's what you are. You are in cryptocurrency debt, okay? Doesn't work out, I like it. You guys are grounded, pessimistic people. I think that's good. That's what, it's not good though. You guys are now legalising euthanasia in this country. Fucking bad idea. If you guys had euthanasia, none of you would have made it through January. It gets dark at 4 p.m. You'd all be like, "Fuck it, lights out forever, I reckon." Euthanasia wouldn't even work in this country. The NHS is so backlogged. By the time your appointment came around, either you're dead, or worse, you found a reason to live. They'll call you and be like, "Hey, we're ready to kill you." And you'll be like, "Oh, I'm watching Adolescence right now." So it's kind of really good. I do support euthanasia just because there's lots of old people out there who are suffering and a lot of their grandchildren are renting. This feels like two birds, one stone. My generation, we can't afford a house, but we can afford a pillow. No, I'll be honest, I think that Islamophobes are the reason that property prices are so high. I think it's their fault. Because Islamophobes always say, "I don't want a mosque in my area. It devalues the property in my area." I don't know if that's true, But if it is, we need a mosque on every corner. You want to get into the property market? Get into Sharia law. That's what Islamophobes are like, what are they up to in that mosque? They're solving the housing crisis, mate. That's what they're People are always like, it's 3 words, location, location, location. Nah, it's 2 words. Allah Akbar. That's By the way, the other night, the Muslim guy came up to me after a show and said, hey, just so you know, when you build a mosque, it actually increases housing prices because Muslims now want to live in that area. I was like, that might be true. But I can't come on stage and be like, guys, we got to get rid of the mosque. That's not a comedy show, that's a rally. I like living here. I was just back visiting Australia though. The Australian government is very dumb. I'll tell you why. So my sister Jackie has Down syndrome, so she's on disability benefits. And every year my parents get a letter from the Australian government asking if my sister Jackie still has Down syndrome. I'm like, government, you don't need to check in. If she's cured, you'll find out. On the news. The headline will be, woman cured of Down syndrome refuses to return parking permit. My friends are really condescending to my sister. They'll be like, oh, I'm sorry she has Down syndrome. Don't be. She's fucking happy. She's the happiest person I know. All of my friends have anxiety and depression. They're all like, I need Valium. I'm like, no, you need an extra chromosome. Honestly, Down syndrome is the only disability that would be mean to cure. They're happy. Let them be. The doctor who cures Down syndrome will be murdered by the first patient they cure. Because they've all got that strength, they'll be like, what have you done to me? The cops will be like, why did you do it? Because I used to eat ice cream for lunch. I just, with disability, always focus on the ability. Like having Tourette's is hard. You yell out words, you can't always control it. But on the plus side, you do get to tell your boss exactly what you think of them. And you've got the best excuse. That is a superpower. If you have Tourette's and your boss says, hey, you need to work on the weekend, you can just be like, motherfucking piece of shit. Low dog, dickhead, fuckwit, cunt. And they have to be like, wow, it must be the Tourette's. That's about flare. And I was just saying this as a joke back home in Australia, and then a guy came up to me after the show and goes, oh, hey mate, I've got Tourette's, and I've actually given that a shot. And I was like, how did it go? And he goes, I got fired. And he goes, but it was my fault, because I said it in an email. That was his mistake. No, just always look at the ability when it comes to disability. Like, obviously, like autism, that's another one. It's really hard. There's lots of things if you have autism you can't do. But Elon Musk has shown us that if you have autism, you can do anything. Even a Nazi salute. And I think that's kind of beautiful, you know? Tell you what, the line between fascism and autism has never been that fucking close. I feel like if Hitler came back today, people would be like, I think he's on the spectrum. He does love trains. Australia has a reputation for racism because of the racism. Like when I flew here on Emirates. I told my auntie I was flying Emirates. She's crazy, she just believes all these conspiracies. She goes, how can you fly Emirates? Don't you know they fund terrorism? I was like, I don't think that's true. But if it is, that would make them the safest airline. You're not going to hijack your own plane, are you? I think that should be their slogan. I think London is like the least racist part of the UK because everyone here just hates everyone. Like you're not discriminating on race, gender, ethnicity. Everyone just fucking hates everyone. It's kind of beautiful. Like if you're standing on the wrong side of the escalator, doesn't matter if you're a straight white man or a gay black trans woman, everyone behind you is thinking, kick that cunt down the stairs. It's beautiful. In this city you can be anything you want to be, except in the way. That's why protests never work in this city. Because as soon as you delay people in London, they just fucking turn against you. No matter what the cause is. You could be protesting against child soldiers in Africa. You shut down the city in peak hour, everyone just goes, fuck it. At least those kids are getting out of the house. They're off their phones, they're serving their country. London's made me a worse person, for sure. Definitely. Like when I first moved here, I'd hear the trains had been delayed because someone threw themselves on the tracks. And I'd be like, oh my god, I hope they're okay. Then the other day I heard that, and I was like, ugh. What a selfish prick. Look, don't kill yourself, but if you're going to do it off peak. Okay? Like, all the places to be. Definitely become a worse person. Like I've started using Deliveroo a lot more. That's not good. That's modern slavery. It's not good. We're paying a refugee less than minimum wage to bring us a curry in a hurricane. It's not good, it's modern slavery. We're going to get judged on this, by the way. There's going to be movies down the track about this. There's going to be a movie in the future called 12 Years a DoorDasher. It's going to be very awkward for all of us. Our grandkids will be like, Grandpa, did you do this? And we'll just be like, look, one night I couldn't be fucked cooking, okay? Like, did you at least tip? No, I'd eat the chips and then say they didn't come, okay? A little loophole you could do. I do love living here. British people who are anti-immigration are so funny. The other day this guy called to the radio, he goes, these foreigners are coming here by boat, invading the country, and they don't have British values. I've looked at history. I feel like invading a country via boat is a core British value. They've picked up the culture so quickly. The other night, this English guy said to me, yes, we colonised countries, but we did make them better. I was like, did you? Because they all celebrate the day that you fucked off. Like, if you found out that all of your exes celebrated your breakup every year with fireworks, you'd have to be like, fuck, maybe I was the toxic one after all. It does suck that Australia got colonised by white people though. Just because now we all have skin cancer. Sucks. It would have been so much better if we got colonised by black people. So much better. We wouldn't need sunscreen and we'd be way better at breakdancing. It's been a tough time, yeah. Do you know that they're not doing breakdancing anymore? They saw a ray gun and were like, fuck it, never again. That's that's pretty bad. Like, they could have just banned her. But they were just like, we cannot take the risk. That's a pretty bad performance. Imagine if I was so unfunny tonight that Bill Murray was like, we're not doing comedy anymore. Can't take the risk of Michael Schaefer turning up again, you know? No, but that's why you need diversity in your country, you know, because, like, you know, because you look at the country, like, if you're a mostly white country like Australia or Great Britain, and you want to win medals at the Olympics, you've got to bring in refugees. They're the guys winning the medals. The racists are like, fuck off, we're full. Well, the trophy cabinet is empty. They're coming here by boat. I hope it's a rowboat. I think you should bring in immigrants from particular countries to get better at specific sports. You want to get better at football? Get some Brazilians into this country. You want to get better at sprinting? Get some Jamaicans into this country. You want to get better at shooting? Get some American high schoolers. Sorry, some of these jokes will contain facts. Sorry. I was just saying that earlier on. Do we have any Americans, by the way? Not as proud as they used to be. I will say this, like, British people, you guys make fun of American gun violence. If you guys had guns, this country would be the fucking Hunger Games. The tube would be a bloodbath. You'd just be stepping over the bodies of people who didn't have their phone ready to tap in. Every announcement would be, see it, say it, shoot it. Every announcement. Couldn't have guns either. I am jealous of America. They get to be in the news. That's kind of fun. Australia's never in the news. No one gives a shit about what happens in Australia. Like, someone took a shot at Trump, it was just front page news for 2 weeks straight. Did you guys hear that last year someone shot and killed the Australian Prime Minister? Did you guys hear about that? It didn't happen, but you believe me. Half of you went, shit, they've killed Hugh Jackman? What the fuck? Australia has never assassinated a Prime Minister, but this is true. In 1967, our Prime Minister, Harold Holt, he went swimming in the ocean. And he disappeared. And we searched for 5 days. We gave it 1 work week. And then the whole country went, fuck it, we'll get another one. And this is true. We commemorated the drowning of Harold Holt in Australia. This is true. By building a swimming pool. And naming it after him. You guys are laughing, but that is the best way to commemorate someone who drowned. He could not swim, so now we're teaching other people how to swim. That makes sense. You guys should have the Princess Diana driving school. Everyone else like this was like, yeah, fuck that bitch, fucking get him. Feels good. You can still be racist towards white people. I think that's good. It's the only race that's still funny to be racist towards. It's fucking great. Like, I was in Shanghai a few years ago, and Chinese men would just stop me on the street for a group selfie. And every photo was me just flanked by 5 Chinese guys who were all doing this. And we can agree, pretty funny. But imagine the reverse. I can't walk around Chinatown with my friends. I can't even finish that joke. The only time time white people have ever experienced like discrimination was when Protestants and Catholics were fucking at each other's throats. This is how bad that was. The KKK in America, a Protestant group, they didn't allow Catholics to join. But then we later found out what the Catholic Church was up to. So the KKK was right about one thing. They were ahead of their time just on that one. I'm not defending the KKK. I'm just saying if I had to organise a babysitter and I had to choose between the Klansman and the priest, I'll choose the guy that will keep his robes on. That's right. I'm just sick of all these white racists being like, oh, white people are being replaced. No, we're not. Have you been to Hull? We're doing great up in Hull. This is how white Hull is. I walked into a curry house, I looked in the kitchen in Hull, there was a white guy making the curries. I walked out. I don't want a Rogan Josh from a guy called Josh. When I walk into a curry house, I want to see an old Indian lady back there, bindi on the forehead, no English, 1-star hygiene rating. That's what I want to see. That's a good fucking curry. It's cheap, it's delicious, you're taking the next day off work. That's a good curry. And obviously white people have their place too, of course. Like when I order a coffee, I want that to be from a white guy with a beard, a neck tattoo, a psychology degree that did not work out, ADHD and depression. That's what I want a flat white from a sad white. That's what all of my white friends are now diagnosing themselves with ADHD. Only my white friends are doing that. My black friends aren't doing that shit. They have enough to deal with. But white people, we fucking want some hardship, don't we? We're desperate for hardship. We've been trying to get hardship for years. How bad has it happened to white people? You know, we missed out on Oasis tickets. That's kind of the worst. We've been trying to get hardship for years. It started a few years ago when we all became gluten intolerant. We tried to compete with people of colour with our gluten tolerance. Black people were like, police brutality is out of control. And we were like, yeah, we can't eat bread. Like, you can't breathe, but I'm quite bloated. Guys, I'm joking. I don't have black friends. I would agree with the sentiment if I did. I think it's like food is a solution to racism. You can't hate a group of people if you enjoy their food. Like, you know, on MasterChef, every year they have a gimmick. I'd love to see a season of MasterChef Racist, where they replace all the judges with racists, and all the contestants are new immigrants, and the contestant who wins is the one who cooks food so delicious that the judges are no longer racist. I would watch the hell out of that show. The finale is just a Nazi eating a butter chicken, just being like, fuck, Sandeep, mate, fuck. I thought I was the master race, but you were the master chef. I'm swapping white power for curry powder, that's what I'm doing. You're the winner, I'm the Vindaloo loser. Honestly, food solves so many problems. Like, the Germans have really taught us that. Because I was in Jamaica a few years ago on holiday doing this tour, and the tour guide goes, oh, this is the local German town. And I go, oh, how come there are Germans in Jamaica? And he goes, oh, a bunch of Germans turned up here in 1945. And I go, were they Nazis? And he goes, no one has asked. Because they make the best schnitzel. What a great solution, yeah. I am Jewish myself. Any Jews in the house? Woo! Woo! Okay. I was joking, let's get him. Just like with it. My grandparents were all Holocaust survivors, which is a crazy thing in my family history. Also, very hard thing for me to live up to. I'm lactose intolerant. What a drop-off in my family. My grandfather survived the death camps. I can't eat cheese. Okay, I don't think we're all appreciating that, guys. That's 2 generations. To put that in context, imagine if Mike Tyson, the most fierce boxer of all time, had a grandson who was a Zumba instructor. It's humiliating, you know. Jewish friend of mine said to me, you know, Michael, anti-Semitism is now at record levels. I don't think it's a record. It's not good, but it's on the record. Look, I'll encounter anti-Semitism online. You know, sometimes like Nazis on the internet being like, hey, I'm going to come to your next show. And that doesn't scare me because I could use the ticket sales. I don't worry about that at all. Any Nazis? So I did ask that the other night just for a bit of fun, and then this lady in the front row, this old lady in the front row, just goes, yes. And I go, are you a Nazi? And she goes, oh, I thought you said Nancy. Fun miscommunication. But then afterwards she did punch a Jew, so I don't know. Could have been anything that one. It is fun being a Jew, just like a Nazi does not know that I'm Jewish unless I tell them. That's kind of fun. Theoretically, I could seduce a Nazi. That's like a fantasy of mine. That's one thing that Jews and trans women have in common. We can seduce the people who hate us. That's pretty cool. We can bring them home, whip out the dick, gotcha, cunt. It's a bit of fun, you know? But, you know, I will get sometimes like weird responses when I tell people I'm Jewish. I was at this party the other night, I told this guy I was Jewish. I think he was on the spectrum because like he didn't blink. He was just like, and I go, hey, I'm Jewish. And then he goes, oh, have you read Hitler's book, Mein Kampf? And I was like, no, I'm waiting for the movie, actually. I was in the library the other week, and I did see the book Mein Kampf in the library, which is fine. It's a historical book. I think it should be out there for educational purposes. But I did find it in the nutrition section. Yeah, like that's a different juice cleanse. Guys, some of these jokes are outstanding. But actually, I think it's good that the Mein Kampf is out there in the library. You know, you've got to educate people. And also, it's a great way to catch Nazis. You know, if a guy with a shaved head walks in and goes, hey, where's Mein Kampf? You can be like, oh, right this way, Kanye. It's a bit of fun, you know. Still affects me a bit in my life, though. Like, I was going to get a car recently. My mum goes to me, Michael, you cannot get a German car. If you get a German car, Hitler wins. I was like, Mum, I think we've got him by now. And also, if a Jewish person were to drive a German car, if anything, that would piss off Hitler. Because his whole thing was like, German cars are for Germans. A Jew driving a German car? He would be rolling in his grave. If he wasn't alive and well in Jamaica right Like, I want to get a German car and Jew it up to really piss off Hitler. Make the license plate Jew boy. Cut off the exhaust pipe so it's circumcised. My mates will be like, is that a BMW? No, BMW Jew, that's what that shit is. Custom made, thank you very much. But I've had to really think my relationship with Israel over the last year or so, you know, because I believe that there should be a Jewish state. That's what I've always believed. But I can't condone everything that Israel does, you know. I remember when I was 18, I went on this birthright trip to Israel, which is like basically they send 18-year-old Jews from all around the world to Israel. And the whole point is to get 18-year-old Jews to meet other 18-year-old Jews and then have Jewish babies. That's the whole point. So they would throw parties for us and just liquor us up. And we'd be like, can we have condoms? And they'd be like, absolutely not. From the river to the sea, you will come in her pussy. That was our slogan. And on the final day of the trip, they took us down to an army base to teach us how to shoot a gun. And we had 8 shots of this target, and it was humiliating because I missed the target 8 times. And afterwards, our commander is coming in to inspect our targets. Goes to my friend Jason, out of 8, perfect, nice work. Nathan, 6 out of 8, that's pretty good too. Comes to me and goes, Michael, you missed the target 8 times. Do you appreciate that in a real war, you would have killed innocent people? We could really use you. That's what I think, there's no nuance anymore. Everyone's part of a fucking tribe now, you know what I mean? Like, I can be Jewish but not condone what Israel does. You know, you can be those two things. I hate that everyone's part of the political tribe. It makes everyone so fucking boring. Someone tells you what they think about one issue, you know what they think about every fucking issue. It's so boring. Just once I'd like to meet someone who bucks the trend. I'd love to meet a pro-choice, pro-vax, racist. That's a great combination. You meet someone who says I'm triple boosted, a feminist, and a grand wizard of the KKK. Yes. Let's grab a quiche. I just want something unexpected, like a homophobic climate activist. They're against fracking and fisting. You know? Oh, you're a non-binary Nazi. That's cool. Your pronouns are he, Himmler. That's fantastic. I like meeting people with nuance, you know. That's why you have to chat to your Uber driver. Most interesting people you'll ever meet. The other day my Uber driver goes to me, hey, I just moved here 3 months ago from Mumbai. And then he goes, too many Indians in this country. Fuck yeah, that's an anti-immigrant immigrant. Fuck yes. That's like meeting a gay homophobe. Oh, well, that's just a priest. I just think that we keep asking celebrities for their opinions on social issues. It's just so fucking dumb. They're not going to tell you what they think. They've got too much to lose. That's why I hate that show, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Because they're always like, we're going to expose celebrities to their greatest fear. And it's always like, snakes and spiders. That's not their greatest fear. Their biggest fear is losing followers. They shouldn't be like, hold this snake. They should be like, hold this phone and tweet, I stand with Israel. At the finale, they should be like, all right, your final challenge, you got to take a selfie with Russell Brand and Ghislaine Maxwell and write the caption, new podcast coming out. That's fucking terrifying for a celebrity. Like, we idolise these celebrities, they just all become fucking sex pests. We want like Russell Brand just got charged for fucking sexual crimes, you know, it's, as they say, it's always the people you most suspect. But like, it's just, people say that men have to believe women, that's 100% true. Women also have to believe women, because I've seen all these women on the internet defending Russell Brand. They've all been like, oh, actually, I met Russell Brand, and he was very nice to me. He did not try to have sex with me at all, so I don't believe those other women. I think they're making it up. And it's like, go fuck yourself. I mean, like, also, Russell, what a fucking cringe thing to just say on the internet. Russell Brand had a sex addiction for decades, and slept with thousands of women. And he didn't want to have sex with you. Fuck, I'll keep that to myself. Like, if I was the only kid on Epstein's Island, don't get ahead of me on this one, Brad. If I was the only kid on that island who was not molested, I'm telling everyone I did. That's humiliating. The kids will be like, oh, Michael's so ugly, the fucking pedos don't even want to touch him. No, I fucked Stephen Hawking. That's what I did, okay? I don't want to be embarrassed. Young men just have the worst role models. They got the worst role models. They all look up to Andrew Tate. They think Andrew Tate is a cool guy. Even on the internet, he's so fucking embarrassing even on the internet. Last year, he got into a Twitter fight with Greta Thunberg. And he lost. He got owned by a teenage girl, which is the opposite of what he's been accused of. Do you know what though? Russell Brand has tweeted one thing that I did, not Russell Brand, Andrew Tate has tweeted one thing I did like. During the pandemic, he tweeted, "I don't sleep with vaccinated women." And he was tweeting that to try to discourage people from getting the vaccine. But he's also a rapist and sex trafficker. So if you were on the fence, you'd see that and be like, fuck, I better get a booster. I'll take that prick over this prick, you know what I mean? Like that. I think we should get more sex criminals to help with public health messages. They're an untapped resource. Like if Prince Andrew came out, if he came out and said, "Hey, I'm only attracted to children who vape," kids aren't going to be vaping anymore. They'll be like, it's a gateway drug. First you blow a vape, then you blow the prince. It's not worth it. It's too risky. It's just that there's still that sexism that's still out there, you know. Like the other day, I heard this like old English bloke say, "I actually do believe women should belong in the kitchen." That's fucked. I've tried British food. They don't. Women belong in the office in this country. It's great that you can't control the gender of your kid. You always hear about men who are sexist and they have a daughter and it forces them to overcome their sexism. It would be great if race was also random. That would solve racism. You meet a white supremacist who was like, "Yeah, I used to be racist, but then we had Trayvon." And he came out circumcised, so I'm now pro-Jew. Now we're trying for a Mexican. Man, it'd be so good if race was random. Because we're all sick of gender reveal parties. Race reveal parties. Fuck, we're all watching that. I'm sick of seeing white couples popping balloons with blue confetti, pink confetti. I want to see brown confetti. And they're like, Alhamdulillah, yes. An engineer, mashallah. I don't want to have kids. My kids will be white. Worst type of kid. They're the worst behaved. When I flew here, 17-hour flight, there was this white kid just running up and down the aisle, screaming the entire time. Meanwhile, next to me, Korean toddler, quiet, doing his calculus homework. At one point they asked, "Is there a doctor on board?" This kid was like, "I fucking got it, don't you worry. I am a trained cardiologist." Okay? I think more people should be adopting children, because that way you get to give a kid a better life, and also you get to be pretty smug around all of your friends. Because all of my friends now have rescue pets. I'd love to one-up them. They're like, "Hey, this is my border collie." "Oh, well, this is my border crosser." "You've got a corgi, I've got a refugee. How about that? He's a mongrel, he's a Mongol, motherfucker." Guys, I'll keep going until you all laugh at this shit. "You've got a Pomeranian, I've got a Romanian. How about that? You've got an Afghan, me too." Who's the real hero here? I remember I went to a Jewish school and they'd make us do sport at my Jewish school, which was a fucking disaster. We were so shit at sport. One day we were doing the shot put when we were 12 years old. Girl in my year level, Stacey Goldberg, was lining up for the shot put. As she's lining up, accidentally flung her behind her. It hit a kid in the chest, and she won the event. Still hold the record to this day. I remember we used to have like these swimming lessons at school, and I was so jealous of the girls because they could just say they had their period and they got out of the lessons. One girl, Romy Sussman, she had her period every week for 4 years. And the PE teacher couldn't say shit. If he's like, prove it, he loses his job. You know what I mean? And then one day she fell in the pool and she drowned. Yeah. But it's okay because we named the pool after her. All worked out in the end. Women are definitely tougher than men. So much tougher. Because women will get periods and just like go to work. That's fucking tough. Like I once did a poo. I once did a poo and I found blood in my poo. I took the week off. And it was just beetroot. I'm soft. People say women shouldn't be on the front lines in war. They should be on the fucking front lines. They can handle some shit. Because you see in the movies, men get shot, they're always like, oh, I'm hit. Fucking pussies. When women get shot, they go, fuck it, stick a tampon in, let's fucking move on. We have a war to win. You know the most formidable soldiers of all time were the Spartans. They were the most formidable because they were all gay. Made them better soldiers. It kind of makes sense. You know, if the guy on the trench next to you is your friend, sure, you'll fight for him. But if that's your boyfriend, you will lay down your life for the man that you're sucking and fucking. That's what you're going to do. America used to have a don't ask, don't tell policy. It should have been a you must eat ass policy. This is true. This is what you need gay people in the army. Because in 2010, America repealed their ban on gay people in the army. 6 months later, they got Bin Laden. You're thinking correlation, I'm thinking causation. For 10 years, the CIA could not find Osama Bin Laden. The gays come in, they're like, he's on Grindr. Straight away. Yeah. I'm jealous of America because they've still got their national pride. Australia doesn't really have that. Like when I was visiting Australia, I went to the gym, and at the entrance of the gym they had an advertisement to get people to join the army. And it said, join the army, make your workout your job. They're going for the fitness angle now. For the army. It used to be join the army, protect your country. And now they're like, join the army and get your 10,000 steps. Cheryl, how'd you lose the weight? Afghanistan. I lost 7 kilograms. It was my left arm. And now every year the government checks if it's growing back. I like being Jewish. The one thing I've said to you though, it's considered a sin to be gay in Judaism, which is very upsetting, because my best friend, he's gay and Jewish, but still keeps kosher. I'm like, mate, you're going to hell anyway. Eat whatever you want. I'm like, mate, if you eat dick, eat bacon. Enjoy yourself. And he goes, well, you eat bacon, so you're going to hell. So why don't you? So now I'm gay. He's got me on a technicality there. I remember the bullies at my school would test if you were gay. This is how they would test you. They go, check your nails. Check your nails like this, you were straight. But if you did it like this, you were gay. Makes no sense. I think that's the gay way to check your nails. That's how you give a hand job. At the same time. That's a very straight way to check your nails. That way you can bat away penises. As they're coming at you. No. Ooh, a footballer. No. That's one way the bullies would test you. The other way they test you, they go, how do you sit? Now, if you sat like this, with your legs open, you were straight. But if you sat like this, you were gay. Makes no sense. I've always sat like this. I just find this comfortable. A few years ago, I was playing football back home in Australia. I was in my team meeting before the match, sitting like this in the front row. Knee-high socks, shorts on, feeling pretty comfy. And our coach was this butch Aussie bloke. He stops the meeting and goes, oi Michael, are you listening? And I go, yeah, I'm playing on 17. He's a left footer, I'll cover his left foot. He goes, oh, okay. You sure you want to sit like that though? I was like, hey, fuck you, man. This is how I sit. It's not the gay way to sit. It's not the straight way to sit. This is just how I fucking sit. And I was so proud of myself for calling out his bullshit homophobia. But then he said, oh no, you've got a testicle hanging out. Hey London, you guys have been so much fun. Thank you so much for coming out to this show. It's so much fun performing at this club, the Bill Murray. So please come back and support this venue. I hope to see you guys again in the future. I really appreciate your support. Thanks so much.